It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies in theaters, streaming, and classic films as well. Directors and actors beware, as you cannot hide from the rage. My name is Bryce, and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim. Hey, Jim.
Hey, Bryce.
I guess there's still no merman. He's still on working. Is that what he's doing? Working?
Yeah. He's working hard for his money. For his honey.
All right, with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
Well, thanks to all who've been supporting us. If you love our independent podcast, please like, subscribe, share, and give us a 5-star rating on your listening platform, or support us and join the Film Rage community by joining our membership at buymeacoffee.com/FilmRageYYC. If you cannot commit to a membership, you can still buy us a movie rental and dare us to see a terrible film. And we will watch it if it played anywhere in the world in a cinema.
True.
Now, let's just get straight to raging.
Let's do it.
Because I have a feeling there's going to be potential raging in this episode.
Really?
I know Merman's not, the Amazing Merman and his predictions are not here.
Mm-hmm.
But I can predict, probably without a doubt, there's going to be some rage in this episode. We're going to live up to our name today.
Okay.
I'm not saying by who, but I'm saying it might happen.
I don't know that I'm going to be raging too much. Oh, wait a minute. We're doing the Marvels first. Maybe there'll be some.
Maybe, but, maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before.
All right, The Marvels is the latest movie in the never-ending Marvel universe that is being forced down our eye holes for the past couple of decades. It does little more than bridge gaps to the next TV series or motion picture. It seems as though there is no time between the end of a Marvel series and the beginning of another release of a movie or TV series. All full of bad special effects and copy and paste action sequences. It has gotten to the point that if you haven't been watching every stupid bit of content, you will probably be a little lost for at least one or two segments of every movie or TV series. None of them can stand on their own, and The Marvels is no different, which is a shame, as I genuinely like the characters they have developed. And they better be developed, as we've seen them in multiple films and TV series. We've spent about 27 hours with them, except for Ms. Marvel. She had just had that one series. But anyways, I've come to know Carol Danvers, Monica Rambeau, and Kamala Khan, and I really do like the characters. Unfortunately, they're in a film that spreads itself too thin and is that is little more than an introduction to the next Marvel project, which will be nothing more than an introduction to the next Marvel project, which in turn will be nothing more than an introduction to the next Marvel product, which will be nothing more than an introduction to the next Marvel project, and the machine keeps moving forward. The machine that gives us 2 or 3 amusing or well-written scenes per film, along with a whole lot of filler and recycled material from previous efforts. Yes, the cats were amusing, and I genuinely like the characters, but the movie is still a mess. The Marvels is a rage.
What? I never saw that coming. Oh, wait. The Amazing Jim predicts.
Yeah. I could barely get through that. I was stumbling all over the place. I was so annoyed by the fact that I got to watch another crap Marvel movie.
I'm starting
to get on board with you. We should just stop watching this crap.
Well, we may talk about that again.
And I still have to watch every stupid TV series, or I don't understand what's going on in the movies.
Yes, I agree. But, you want to save the world. Don't send a man to do the job of 3 women. That's the story this tells. But not only that, it throws in a bunch of stuff that is confusing, makes no real sense to people just showing up to see a movie that has some of, in my opinion, the worst acting of any Marvel movie to date. On top of that, apparently Marvel knows they are waning. So they have to throw everything at a movie to try and find a new audience for children, young girls, and apparently cat lovers. And anything they can think of that will bring more people to a dying franchise that ultimately seems to be getting worse every single time they release a film. With a culture in space that doesn't speak but sings English and can't understand if you talk, because singing and dancing English is a different language now. This makes zero sense. If they were at least singing in another language other than English, that doesn't even fucking make sense to me. It made absolutely no sense. There is absolutely nothing new in this film. Now, don't get me wrong. There was a couple good things in this movie.
Yeah.
The CGI, in my opinion, was probably some of the best CGI that Marvel has done in a while.
Okay.
I mean, there's been a really lot of bad CGI lately. This was better than most of it to me.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was good. Oh wait, did I say there was a couple things in this that was good? No, there was just the CGI, and that wasn't even.
Your high point is the CGI.
Yeah, that was really the highest point. This is definitely the high point of this movie.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty much everything else in this was annoying, predictable, and I really did not care what was happening. Not one iota.
You didn't even like the characters? I actually do like them.
No, I actually don't like the characters because you can't look at Marvel as, you have to look at Marvel as this giant machine that just fucking goes on and on and on. But if you're going to review, I know, that's why I'm agreeing with you. But what I'm saying is you can't do that. If you're going to release a movie and we're going to review a movie, if you did not watch all the other shit that came up to this, you fucking would have no idea what the hell is happening in this movie. And I watched Miss Marvel. I watched Miss Marvel. I also didn't like that franchise. I think the some of the characters in that franchise are bad actors. And they put them in the movie and you put them up against, some real talent. And it just really showed that the acting was really subpar in this. And if you were just saying, you know what, hey, I just woke up today and I'm going to watch a Marvel movie, and this was the first Marvel movie you watched from, there's not one character development in this. You have no clue what is happening.
The character development
through the whole movie.
There's character development. It just took place in the 47 previous things. There's none.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. In this movie, there's none. There's zero characters, and ultimately,
and that's what's
me,
annoying.
Yes. For me, if I can't connect to the characters in the movie, maybe it's because I'm old, or maybe it's because what?
You should be able to, though, because you've seen the character development through 47 previous efforts.
I know, but
it can't stand on its own.
I watch
Marvel
too much
Universe
content.
Part 97.
Yeah, and I think if you're gonna try and make movies that are just throwing shit at the wall and hoping that it's going to stick, then, have something for people that are starting out with this in their franchise. I just get the opinion, and they really did feel like they were throwing everything at this movie to get people to like it who've never been to a Marvel movie before. Like you put these adorable cats in it, and you know what, the cat thing shtick is old already. We've already seen this cat eat people before, and so.
But this was kind of clever to get him off, the ship with it. Yeah,
was it clever, or it was just by the time you got to that point in the movie, you had hated the movie so much that you're like, could anything more destroy this movie? And you're like, you know what? The only thing that could, I'm not giving it any credit for these little kittens because to me it's a ploy. Like the next thing you know, I can almost guarantee.
Sheep.
Yeah, I can almost 100% guarantee the next thing that's, if we have, I haven't went and shopped for my grandson yet for his Christmas present, but I can pretty much fucking bet there is probably cats from this movie that I can now buy. I'm just so sickened by this machine that has turned movies into trite drivel and has no value whatsoever. On top of that, if you can't develop characters that somebody watches a movie and understands what's going on, then to me it's a waste. And they would just go from scene to scene to scene to scene and really not explain anything. So, I tried to put myself in the position of, okay, if I didn't know already some of these characters, what would I think about this movie? And I mean, I was hating it because it was terrible, but then I would have hated it even more if I'd never seen it.
Completely lost.
You'd be like, okay, who's this person? What is that? Yeah. How is this? Why did Carol and her niece are the same age or this? And it's like, it was just like, it's so convoluted and stupid. And I can't stand Disney and Marvel anymore. Yep. Please end this franchise. It's gross. I mean, it's a rage.
It is. It is such a rage. Yeah.
I didn't see that coming. I thought you might have loved this movie.
No, you did not.
I came out of this and I was just like,
what a pile of crap.
This was so bad.
Yeah.
And, I have to admit, I really liked the first Miss. I loved Marvel, like the Miss Marvel or whatever her name is. Yeah. Captain Marvel or
Captain Marvel.
Super Marvel or whatever.
Super
Yeah,
Marvel.
whatever she is.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that one. I like that movie. And what was her niece in? Like, I don't remember what franchise she was in, but they must have told her story because I don't remember it.
WandaVision.
Oh, right.
Yeah. She's a huge
part of WandaVision. She have a big part in her story?
Yeah. And she was in as a kid, she was in now I can't even. Captain Marvel
thing.
As a kid, she was in Captain Marvel. Then, as a grown up, she was in WandaVision, and that was the bridge. And that's the whole thing. It's like you can't even remember where she came from because there's been so much bloody Marvel content. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's absolutely ridiculous.
They should have just had this as another, Disney Plus. Movie that you can watch on Disney Plus.
Shouldn't exist anymore. This is just getting dumb. They should have ended this thing back with the first Avengers, whatever that was. Boom, end the whole damn thing there and call it a day. Because you know what? It was still pretty entertaining up until the first Avengers. It really was. I liked the Captain America movie, the first one. That was great. First Iron Man, I really enjoyed. And then it was diminishing returns after that, but it was still, it was still entertaining up until the first Avengers, and then it just got worse and worse. The only thing is you get the occasional Guardians of the Galaxy, which has delivered, but man, there's a lot of crap to wade through to get to the good stuff.
You nailed it.
All right, sir. Let's talk about something else.
Yeah. Let's talk about something else.
I'm actually curious to see what you thought of this, because...
Okay. All right. Well,
I actually don't know. I know what you should think of it. Let's see what you do think of it.
So you remember, and when I'm talking here, you're going to remember all this conversation we had up until this movie. So I am the first person to admit Paul Giamatti in his last, 8 films has made questionable decisions.
True.
Making, at this point in his career, kind of a guaranteed terrible chooser of being in films. That's what I'm going to say. But... So I'm also the first person to tell you that I hated this trailer and was really looking forward to really, really, really hating this film.
But...
I mean, the trailer... It looked like every other teacher-student holdover film I've ever seen. On top of that, it's a period piece of the 70s.
Yep.
We all know how much I love period pieces.
But...
Oh, that's right. I don't like period pieces.
But...
Right?
It's true.
But I forgot when I went to this movie that I wished I was hating.
Yes.
Is that Paul Giamatti has also made some other movies.
He has some good ones.
And the last 10, which were kind of annoying. Before that, I remembered he could act.
He could.
And seeing him in this cockeyed, smirky face with fish-smelling BO'd goofiness is exactly what this 70s period piece film needed.
Yes.
Plus, I must have also forgot that Alexander Payne is one of the world's best character directors who has a knack of creating deep, layered stories that can do what he did in this film, create a film of misfits that had no point of connecting on any level and having them come together over a 2-week period at Christmas holidays from a boys' boarding school and make them a self-made family that show each other love and compassion and get me to have a smile on my face, even though the story is predictable and not super original. But the character stories were all ones that I wanted to know more about. Every character in this seemed so natural and believable in this super, super, super strong characters with Divine Joy Randolph and Paul Giamatti, both longtime professional actors, are both generous and giving to newcomer and to help newcomer, actually. First-time actor in a film, Dominic Sessa, get the absolute best of his performance. This film had me smiling and even giggling at times in this mostly, and I say mostly because of Giamatti and his quirky and adorable portrayal of a hard-ass teacher with no elasticity and basically completely unlikable to become a character you were rooting for right up until the very final act of this heartwarming story. Okay, Mr. Paul Giamatti, stick to this new plan. I'm going to predict it for you. Stop making the shit you have made for, say, the last 12 movies and just make ones like this.
Yes.
You know, movies that are Mondo. That's what you should do.
There you go.
Because you haven't done that for a long time.
It's kind of good advice for everybody, but...
Well, especially for him. And
Yes.
we'll unpack
Because
this a little
he
bit.
should
What
be.
did you... Yeah. What did you think of this?
All right, here we go. The Holdovers is the latest from director Alexander Payne, who has given us many memorable films such as Election, Citizen Ruth, Nebraska, and of course Sideways, which was the last time he worked with Paul Giamatti until this latest effort. It is a film that is a throwback to when Hollywood occasionally produced adult dramas that were character-driven and well-written. Paul Giamatti stars as Paul Hunham, a professor at the prestigious Barton Academy in the early 70s. He is liked by no one and seems to take glee in handing out failing grades, but that is just what lies on the surface. As we get into the film, there is a lot more to this man. Divine Joy Randolph is Mary, the head cook at the academy, who is grief-stricken as she has recently lost her son to the Vietnam War, and she acts as a kind of reality check for our other two main characters. That third main character being Angus Tully, played by newcomer Dominic Sessa. Sessa has a very natural way about him and combines leading man potential with a down-to-earthiness that seems to have him positioned to be a future star. It is another character that seems one note at first, just like Giamatti's, but as we get to know these people, so much more is revealed, and the complexities of their being is brought to the forefront. This film is serious and funny and supremely well written and acted. The music takes you back to a time, along with the very deliberate choices to make this feel like it was made in an era long past. I cared about every main character and to a certain extent saw myself in aspects of Paul, Angus, and Mary. This is the best film that Alexander Payne has ever made, and that is saying something, as he has made some very good cinema. The Holdovers was Mondo.
Yeah. I wanted so badly to hate this.
I know you did.
I so wanted to hate.
You know what? I was positive you were going to like it, and I was positive I was going to love it, and I'm glad I was wrong that you actually loved it, and I'm glad I was right that I also loved it.
Yeah, he set out, because we'd seen some interviews about him talking about making this, and the whole fact of he really wanted to capture that 70s vibe in this film.
Sure did.
And the colorization in this film is just so rich. It's just It's so 70s. Like, you feel like the
Yep.
film is old. Like, how did he, I don't know what filter he used, or, you know, getting into the technicalities of this. I don't know how he did it, but it really did have that 70s feel. I mean, even the trailers where Giamatti's face is like, yeah,
Yep.
it's like so 70s. It's like, then that's the thing that, you know, made me think this was not going to work, because, you know, how many of those movies have we seen before? And you go back and watch them now and they're all terrible. But, you know, when you have a supremely talented writing, like they had in this,
Yeah.
and you know, we didn't really talk much about the writer of this, but they're also a seasoned professional as well, right? So I mean, it's one of those things that it's like you couldn't miss because of who was in it. It really did scare me though with Giamatti. I really have been disappointed in him so much lately. So,
but you knew he could act, and you knew if he was given the right material, he'd knock it out of the park. How good was he though? He is just so good, and the evolution of this character through this film is just, and it's not like he's a different guy at the end, but
no, he's kind of is a little bit,
but he's still the same guy, but he's done some learning through this film, and he's brought some people into his life. And it's amazing how these three main characters all affect each other for the better. Like, every single one of them makes them better, and it's so good. And I just felt so good leaving this cinema. I just like, and the fact that this is like a major Hollywood production, like this isn't an independent film. This is Alexander Payne getting serious Hollywood money. And the fact that we're not getting some cookie cutter piece of crap that we get from Hollywood, the fact that this type of film can still be made by Hollywood makes me happy, because it gives me hope that maybe cinema's not going to be just blockbusters and ridiculousness.
But you know, I guess on top of that, like, not that I want to compare it really at all, but you know, that era of directors, and I kind of put them together. They're all character directors. Mm-hmm. Wes Anderson, P.T. Anderson, and Payne, right? Like, all three of them have this way of developing characters, all in their own, in their own way, and how they do it. They're all but they all have a style, right? Like, Payne's films are usually very heavy dialogue, right? And the dialogue is so craftfully written. Who was the writer in this again? Sorry, because he was, you know, when you look at his thing, he's got a lot of experience, but he's not known for this level of drama, right? Sorry, I'm
that's
just
okay.
pulling this up.
Look away.
It's written by David Hemmingson.
Yes.
And I'm just like, dude, like, you nailed this. Like, when you look, they've written a ton of TV stuff, and maybe that's where they got some of the character development capabilities out of this. But I mean, they're mostly known for kind of comedy dramas on TV. So kudos to them. I hope they stay in Hollywood and continue to write films, because it was such a joy. Like, and you know, not to put any spoilers out there, like, this is one of those movies that you come away happy at it, but it's not necessarily
a happy ending, but I was just happy leaving the theater. Well, even though it wasn't a happy ending, you still felt happy for them. Even though, I mean, it's not like things just worked out wonderfully for everybody, but it was still, you still felt happy because you knew that they were going to land on their feet. You knew that they were going to have a different direction to their lives because of this experience, and that their lives were actually going to be better, even though how it ended maybe isn't necessarily a happy ending. Yeah,
I agree. I think everybody should see this film. Everybody,
so good.
Like, I think everybody would get something out of it. So
absolutely.
I hope it gets some big numbers. I would love it if people heard our podcast this week and said, you know, why aren't we seeing this in theaters this weekend? And then they go see that instead of the Marvels.
Wouldn't that be nice? Mondo! Mondo!
Temperature rising. Vision blurring. Rage taking over.
Oh, a sweet, sweet rage. My rage this week is Marvel and Disney. Fuck off, I hate you. That's it.
All right. Well, now I kind of feel unoriginal.
Not fitting.
So my rage is not unlike Jim's, but my rage is just the fact that I have to watch every bit of Marvel content to truly understand what is going on in all of their movies. None of them can stand on their own, and it's kind of exhausting and way too time-consuming to try to keep up with all the content. That's my rage. I mean, for crying out loud, if you didn't watch WandaVision, and that's even parts of that invasion or whatever it was, and that had factor in this, and I mean, you have no idea, Ms. Marvel. Like, if you didn't watch all these, you had no idea what was going on. Plus, previous movies too. I mean, it just makes me angry that I have to keep on top of every single stupid little bit of Marvel to understand when I go into and pay $15 to watch a movie. It's like, what?
But this is this one is the absolute worst for that. Like, we've seen other Marvel movies where it just can stand alone. It can just stand alone and be a Marvel movie. Mm. But it's like they've transformed them into this now. This is what they are now. And that's the thing that is most rage-inducing.
Every movie is
you think to yourself, yeah. It's like, what if I don't want to watch TV? And I've chosen now to get rid of my Disney Plus because it's annoying. I haven't even watched the last Loki, and I know it's going to be amazing. But I refuse now to do it because if I'm going to go see a movie, I want to judge it on the merit of that movie. I never want to have to think, well, it's a good thing I watched the 72 previous movies because I know what's happening. I just want to now watch the movie because that's what I want to do. I go to the theaters and watch fucking movies.
Absolutely. As I mentioned before, I mean, the earlier movies, they could stand on their own, but it's getting to the point that it's not even a movie anymore. It's just a setup to the next movie, which is a setup to the next movie, which is setting up the next movie. And it's like, is there going to be a time when there's an actual movie?
Yeah, there's not. Well, it's not even just setting up the next movie. It's setting up the next franchise series on Apple or Disney Plus that leads into it. So,
it's just you know what? Ongoing, exhausting machine that needs to run out of gas because I'm just done with it. It took me a while, but I'm here.
Yep. Yeah, rage, and just, I guess...
Pulse slowing. Anger fading.
Can't believe you're talking over Ben Stiller. What is wrong with you?
Well, you know what? My rage was so deep. He got some of my rage.
How deep is your rage? Deep. I can't do it.
How deep is your rage?
We should do a version of that, actually.
Is your rage? Yeah. You know what? We'll work on that when I get back in town. We're going to spend a Sunday one day and we're going to rewrite our theme music.
Nice.
What deep is your love? How deep is your rage? By the Bee Gees.
Yeah. Any last words before we cut out of here?
Wasn't it your birthday or sometime coming up, or did it happen already, or is it next week? I know your birthday's coming sometime.
It might be next week. I don't know. Nobody cares.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure I'll see you before your birthday. So
possibly.
Yeah. You know what? We have not a lot of other content this week because I'm not in town, and we got a lot of things coming up that we have to be ready and refreshed for. So.
There we go.
We're gonna catch up in December with our other segments. So until then, thanks, Ragers, for listening. Thanks, Extended Film Rage family, who you can find in our show notes. Thanks to Casey, the nerdy photographer, for the voice of Rage or Dare and our God of Rage. Find us everywhere on social media at Film Rage YYC. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com, including our merch site for Redbubble and TeePublic. We're always wanting to make this a raging blast for all listeners, so please comment, like, and subscribe, and even share with us emails at filmragecalgary@gmail.com. Dare us to see terrible movies to fuel our rage, but no matter what you do, please, 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 make us a rage. And that's it for this week. A rage on.
Rage on.